better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. You'll find it at Romancing the Podcast. Ooh, ooh, baby, you had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. Ooh, I'll have what she's having.
Hey, Mikey, did you happen to see the post to the Romance in the Pod Facebook group where all these women were like, hey, Mikey, I'm one of those invisible women you're out there looking for?
I saw that.
I have not seen that.
I was like, oh, Mikey, I don't think you know what you did.
Someone requested to join the Facebook group, and they're like, I like this episode and that one episode where they talk about the picture about Mikey's enormous penis looking big. I mean, it was funny. Like, I showed y'all the picture. It was hilariously weird, that picture.
I looked at it the other day because I was looking for a different picture, and I scrolled past it, and I was like, oh, I remember. I remember Mikey's big dumb dick.
So if you podcasted on... Okay, wait, just open it up.
Yeah, let's just start. Paige.
Now I'm worried.
I have things I need to say.
Thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at hello. I'm Paige Wesley.
I'm Mikey Randolph.
And I'm Todd Schlosser. And this week, I made you guys watch Love Potion number 9.
But before we go on, I will tell you, I have taken Love Potion number 8 undiluted.
Uh-oh.
And my voice is being broadcast out into the world.
Mikey, I don't think you need more thirsty DMs. Why are you doing this to yourself?
I think this is a bad idea. This is a bad plan.
I want the women to fight over me.
Mikey's going to break a pool cue and throw it down at his front lawn and just be like,
we only have one opening in this agency.
He's going to be like, the winner gets the full vitamin water, dick. God damn.
Oh, no. Won't be able to walk the next day. I'm here to tell you that I'm immune.
Yeah, probably. So is this the first time either of you guys have seen this movie before?
Okay. This is not the first time I've seen this movie, but it is the first time since I was a child. I've seen this movie when I was like a child. It's at least 25 years.
Oh, yeah.
I remember nothing about it.
Same.
I will say, if we pick another movie where Sandra Bullock has to pretend to be ugly for 45 minutes, I will fucking lose my shit because I don't buy it. I'm tired of it. It's a trope at this point. She's always the prettiest orphan that ever was.
While we were waiting for you to go back to work to get your laptop that you forgot, Paige and I were talking about how this is probably the most uglied up she's ever been in a movie.
And she's still hot.
I know. Mikey, she is still very attractive.
Oh my God, she had a gap in her tooth. It's just like ponytails and glasses at this point because she hooks up with that dude and she is still like a fucking 10 in that scene.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm so tired of this.
This is the first time I had really seen this movie. I once walked in on some friends watching this movie when I was probably 8, and I clocked it. I was like, oh, that ugly chick is hot, and then I walked away. But this is the first time I think I'd seen it all the way through and actually paid attention to it.
This was my first time seeing this movie, and as I mentioned to Todd before we got on the call, didn't hate it. I'm here for 2/3 of this movie, and then the third act goes off the fucking rails and the plan becomes to roofie Sandra Bullock with magic, and then I'm not here for it. But here's what I will say, Mikey, I'm with you. I think of if someone were to redo this movie today and you cast the girl from Dumplin' and a similar kind of schlubby nerdy dude, the girl from Dumplin' and Jay Baruchel or something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I am here for that, where it's just the best looking version of them, whatever they are as a person.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, and I'm here for it because what I do really like about this movie is we get to see some of the inequalities of the attractiveness bubble for both of them.
Yeah.
How they've experienced things in both ways. And at the end, they don't go out and end up with someone who is only into them for being hot. They end up together because they've actually been friends and had a connection the whole time.
Yeah.
And so I love that arc for them. I think it's great. I do think there's definitely problematic shit in this movie.
Oh yeah, like the consent issues that happen 90% of it.
So much.
Yeah.
But overall, I had fun. I actually enjoyed it. What's happening to me? I don't know.
I liked it as like what it is. Like, yeah, all the rapey consensual stuff is like the whole. If you take out the sorority scene where they're just people for money and stuff, I'm fine with it.
But if you really think about that sorority scene, like that's real gross, right? Like that's real bad.
He did get arrested, but probably for not as much as he should have.
Well, and that's the other thing too. He gets arrested for, what do they call it?
The panty raid law.
The panty raid law, which is like not necessarily real. But when I lived in the house, there was a rule where boys couldn't be upstairs and boys couldn't be in the house after a certain point.
Sure.
But that was just a house rule. It wasn't like a law. But it made me question, because they are on a campus. They are working in a research lab. I was like, is he a grad student or is he not a student?
He just says he's a biochemist.
Yeah.
He does not say that he has a job as a biochemist. So he might be working at the university. He might be a student, like a grad student at the university. Like I have no idea. Like they don't really go into it.
He may have been like a research professor.
True.
I mean, none of these answers are good for this situation.
Yeah, none of this makes that rapey scene any better.
None of it makes it good. I will say that odds are everyone in that sorority house was of age. Pretty good odds.
Yeah.
But like, that's still...
Well, depending on the state, yeah.
Well, no, because you'd be in college, so minimum you would be 17, but by the time you finished...
Tennessee is 18, though.
Yeah. Most states are over 18, I think.
But also, your rush usually ends, like... You don't get to join the sorority immediately. Like you pledge,
it takes time.
And you don't live in the house for a couple months. So like the likelihood that there would be someone under 18 in the house is unlikely. In our house, you weren't allowed to live in the house under 18. So like,
yeah, because Tate Donovan might show up and just like glamour all of you into boning him.
I mean, that's a real strong superpower. I do not want access to that.
So high level. I enjoyed this movie, but if you really start digging into it, it's real fucking gross.
Oh, you mean like the fact that her job is monkey psychologist?
Yeah.
Comparable psychology or something. I was funny. I do think there's like a bit of a pacing issue where I liked the first 20 minutes. I liked the montage of them finally getting together and falling in love.
Love it.
Love that. But like between those, I was like real bored.
Well, that's where a lot of the rapey stuff happens, is between that. Like the first 20 minutes, they're setting up the premise. For the next 30 minutes, they're out here raping in these streets. And then, can I say that? I don't know how I feel about it. Like, let's just say there's consent issues for the next 30 minutes.
There's consent issues out in these streets.
Out in these streets. And then they fall in love, and it's like, you know, super sweet for that like montage. And then he's like going to ask her to marry him. And then like, it becomes like a heist movie of like how he's going to get her to fall back in love with him.
Yeah, it goes off the fucking rails.
Well, let's talk about that. The montage is only 7 days. They've only been dating a week.
Okay, I legit thought that after that like quick 7-day montage when he's like, I'm going to marry her, I was like, oh my God, he's going to find out when he goes to her door that she's been using the serum on him.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, he's just crazy. He was like, I bought a ring. I was like, 1 week.
I'll give it a pass because it implies that they have been friends for a long time.
Yeah, they've at least been coworkers for a while. Yeah.
That's okay. That's fine. But I will say, once you take things to another level, maybe longer than a week. I mean, I think it's one thing to be like, I am in love with her if you are friends with someone and you know them. I think this is the person I want to marry. I think those are sweet statements, and I'm glad you're emotionally there. That's great. That's all good. And telling her that would be great, like confessing your real feelings and like setting that path. But like actually buying the ring to actually do it is like a different level.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I do fully believe that after Mikey and I start dating, we will get married very quickly, just because we've been working so closely together for like 2.5, 3 years.
And you went on those lunch dates?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I liked it because they split up at one point with like the potion. They're like, let's fuck shit up, see what we can do.
Yeah,
right?
Let's go out here and sexually assault people for 3 weeks and not talk to each other.
Well, no, that's his ultimate. Like that was his thing. Her thing was she gets the Prince of England to want to marry her. And she's like, I guess I'll be a princess. And she gets like all this other expensive stuff.
But I think part of the consent issue is the potion.
Yes, that's 100% the consent issue.
Yeah. So like she's still using the potion. And what I will say is like, I think that's what makes their love story in the middle of it even better for me, because they're clearly not using it.
Yeah.
But it is them realizing they have the confidence within and exploring feelings and being open with each other that allows them to really kind of have their love story in the middle of this movie without the potion, without any of it. And then the third act of the movie just jumps a million sharks. Like, it's just the craziest third act ever, where it's like they did no cocaine and then all of the cocaine.
I did think it was very cute that, like, when they're around each other during that 3-week time period where they're like testing out the serum or whatever, or the love potion,
not talking.
they won't talk to each other. I thought that it was super cute. And I was like, this is so adorable.
It was cute. And I was like, that's when I sent you that text. I was like, Sandra Bullock is like the prettiest person.
I did miss, like, they must have cut it out, but I really wanted to see her, like, just bone down a hot dentist for 3 days so he would fix her teeth.
Something happened. She got him fixed.
Yeah, it doesn't explain it.
She was way better at this stuff. He was just like, I'm going to use it as an adolescent fantasy. And she amassed massive fortune and power in like 3 days.
Yeah, because she's a woman. And that's what we do when we have the power of will.
Yeah.
What would you do with the love potion?
Me?
Both of you.
I would feel very guilty about using it. I don't think.
Well, you're married.
Well, no, not. I mean, let's say that I'm not for the sake of this exercise. I don't think I would be comfortable with someone who liked me only because of the potion. I wouldn't want to use it.
Oh, I meant use it for evil.
Oh no, I know. I'm just like, personally, I would have like a morality issue about it. But if I was using it for evil, I'd get a house. I'd find a way to get a house.
Yeah. Now that's what I'm talking. But what if you stole it from a guy who's like not great? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's some gray area.
I mean, I'd feel a little bit better about that. But like, I mean, I feel like I would really have to work up to even using the potion to begin with.
I wouldn't. I know exactly what I'd do, Mikey.
Tell me.
I'd find Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, glamour her for 4 hours, and have her write me a check for a fourth of Jeff Bezos' income.
No, not even. She would write that house check and like she would buy you a little house like that. 2 seconds. That's like chump and change.
Hang on 1 second. Let me do some math.
I would, you know, some of those like popular conservative blonde commentators on the internet.
Yes.
So you mean all of Fox News?
Well, like Tommy Loran and all them. Like she popped up on my Bumble once
I remember you telling me that.
because she lives in Nashville. I would like use it and then have them say a bunch of liberal stuff and then they like
And record it and then just release it on the
put it
internet.
on the internet. She's like, this is my lover. He's super liberal. And I'd be like,
It's like the
yes.
weirdest revenge porn. Just releasing a discussion.
For the record, I don't want to have sex with Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. I couldn't even tell you what she looks like.
I bet she's great.
I'm sure she's a wonderful person. She got $38 billion in the divorce, and I'm convinced she doesn't need 19 of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that. And then, Paige, I'll buy you a house. Mikey,
Thank you.
You're fine. You're doing great.
What?
I'm not helping you at all, but you live there.
I think I could do a bigger house.
If you're going to take care of the house, I think I'm going to talk my way onto an airplane over to the UK and fuck some shit up with some accented folks and then come back.
Paige is gonna come back with kilts of all the men she slept with.
I'm going to be like, I'm somehow pregnant by both Henry Cavill and the guy from Outlander. It's a science miracle.
She just has like a quilt of kilts. It's like her like notches on her
He has
bedpost.
notches in the bedpost.
Oh my God. And like Jake's just sitting there like, we should never have made a celebrity exception list.
No, this was a hypothetical
Yeah.
situation where, because here's the thing, if Jake is still around, none of that happens. I'll be like, you have fun with your potion, please give me a house.
Right?
I'm like, I'm gonna get you a house, Paige.
Yeah.
Don't listen to my voice.
You can just, well, now texting is so prevalent, we could have full ass conversations in front of each other just through text.
That's true.
You know what was prevalent when this movie was made? Writing.
This is the 90s. It would have been like papyrus and shit, though. That's how old it is.
It's cuneiform in the stones. Who's the most evil woman in the world?
Like ever?
I don't like, who would we go to like punish with the potion? Like,
You mean currently living?
yeah, the fact that I'm having a hard time answering this question is probably good for women.
No, there's some evil women out there, like for sure. Like Carla Homolka's still alive, I think.
I don't know who that is.
Don't Google it if you value your sanity, or do and plan your revenge. But like,
I don't know, Mikey, but I think really just getting $19 billion would be enough for me.
No, I'm 100% with that. I'm with Paige. I would morally, I guess that's the line. Like I would steal money and stuff from people and like be like, oh yeah, you can give me a house. But I'd be like, I can't sleep with you. That's a bridge too far.
Right.
well, yeah, because I like it. This is a difficulty that I have with any movie that has a makeover in it, where I'm like, doesn't it bother you that someone places value on you now because you look different and didn't before? That they didn't value the thing inside you that made you you? Because that's the part that doesn't change.
No, they value the thing that I put inside them.
Okay. But I'm just like, that would still bother me with the potion is what I'm saying. It's like a not a makeover.
Anything that takes away consent is a problem. Like, that's just obviously saying
of
that.
course.
And
100%.
also with the whole makeover stuff, Paige, to like sort of tack onto that, like if they don't see the value in you before the makeover, that value is not going to, if it's just about your looks, it's not going to stay. The value is not going to stay, right? So like, I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And so like, I don't want to like have to like banaka my partner to stay every like 4 hours.
That would be a nightmare. You're right. Yeah. Which is why I just want to get $19 billion from Mackenzie Bezos or whatever her new last name is, and then come back home, buy everyone here a house. We have different problems if I do that. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. Buy Nashville houses. So we have like a Nashville base and an LA base, and we just travel between.
Oh, yeah. If we were billionaires, we'd have like compounds at different places.
First off, you keep saying we, but you said just a second ago that you would not marry me. So like, you are not a part of this we. Me, I have this money, and I am being nice to you by buying you some furniture for your house.
That's true, because I should really get my own compound, buy a bunch of land, convince people from the UK to immigrate.
You can with the potion.
All right. Anyway, should we get into
let's
this
just get into the movie, Paige. Absolutely, yeah.
So we open on the most boring, way too long credits ever.
Oh my God, these credits were a nightmare, man.
It's the full song of Love Potion number 9.
Yeah.
All 28 minutes of it.
Mike, it is verses of this song.
It is verses of it. I have some fun facts about the song and the version that they use specifically in this movie. And fun facts, we'll talk about it later. So just keep that in the back of your brain.
Okay.
Anyway, the credits are boring and too long. And every once in a while, it would move away from the crystal ball. And I was like, oh, finally, the credits are over. And then it'd be like, no, we're back, crystal ball. I don't know why. I don't know why they moved it. Yeah. Anyway, so we open on an old Victorian house and 4 men appear outside it. They walk across the street towards the house. And we hear, oh my God, what's the character's name? I'm losing my mind.
The main guy?
Tate Donovan.
I know Tate Donovan's the actor. But
sorry. You mean the kid?
I never caught his name.
I don't think I ever caught his name. Anyway, so Tate Donovan and his balding friends all show up to this Victorian house. Multiples of them. And if you think the one wearing a hat isn't, you're lying to yourself.
No, he's lying to himself. His name is Paul in the movie, by the way. I just looked it up.
Paul. Here's what I'll say. Women like bald guys. We just don't like surprise bald guys. So wear it loud, wear it proud. Be bald. There are chicks that dig it, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and honestly, like if you've got the bed skirt going around your head, just shave your head.
Yeah, shave it off, dude.
You look way better.
Yeah. Or cornrows. But just from there down.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea, Paige, but I'd love to see that.
I would pay money to get someone to do it because it would make me laugh a lot.
I mean, not everyone's going to look like The Rock with a shaved head, but it's better to look like The Rock than like a bed skirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, controversial opinion. This is like devil's advocate here. Danny DeVito. You could look like a mad scientist.
Yeah.
You either got to go mad scientist or The Rock.
Or the trash man.
Well, I think you go.
Anyway, so Paul's voiceover basically tells us that once a week they find something fun to do. And so this week they went to a fortune teller and she's reading his palm. Now, the fortune teller in this movie is played by Anne Bancroft, who is Mrs. Robinson.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I was like, is that Mrs. Robinson? And I'm like, yes. So I thought that was kind of a fun little Easter egg that they play with a little bit later in the movie.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's cool.
Yeah. So as she's reading Paul's palm, she's like, no women. Literally none. None at all.
I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
I loved that she was like, I got to show my sister or whatever, and took out the Polaroid camera. Took like 10 seconds to like focus it and then took the picture. I was like, oh, that's fucking
and then
funny.
just drops the camera. Because the camera, she picks the camera up out of nowhere, focuses, shoots it, and then just drops it on the floor. And doesn't even retrieve the photo from it.
The photo's still hanging on it when she drops it. And like, it must have broke. I bet the prop guy was like, well, I hope we got it with that take. We don't have, I don't have Polaroid cameras on lock. Like, that's it, guys.
Yeah, do you want to tell Mrs. Robinson that she broke it? No. Do you? No. Anyway, she does ask him if he is a boy kissy boy, aka a homosexual, and he's like, no. That's when she takes the Polaroid.
Yeah.
And she basically is like, yeah, you're never going to fall in love ever. So I'm going to give you something. And she goes to the closet, gets a bottle, pours out like a little syrupy candy bit, and tells him to dilute it with water. And she like folds it into a little envelope. And she says, when you speak with women, they will find you fascinating. And she's like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a biochemist. And she goes, oh yeah. And like hands him the paper like, you're going to need this.
I honestly really liked that she didn't charge him for it.
No, not at all. Yeah. I don't think she charges anybody for it.
Yeah.
This is pity based because she thinks he will never, ever have sex with a woman.
Yeah. Mikey, absolutely.
So we cut to them having drinks after, and his friends actually ask him about a woman they saw him having lunch with, which we will find out is Sandra Bullock's character.
Yeah, they reference that quote unquote date. I say quote unquote date because like some other people
there were only two people
know,
there, not four, and they weren't seeing Blair Witch Project. No, I can understand the confusion, Todd.
Just so you know, I was going to make that same joke, but yeah. I'm also going to go cry after this, but maybe we should just get through it.
Well, so what is kind of nice is that in his voiceover, he's like, no, she's exactly my type. She is a boyfriend. So we find out early on, he likes her.
Yeah, he's super into it.
We already know.
Which I like that he admits that pre-makeover, which makes that whole makeover thing less weird for me.
It makes it less weird for me because it makes me feel like she did it for her and she wanted to do it and it didn't matter what he thought and he was willing to invest before.
Yeah.
He got in when the stocks are on the bottom floor. Yeah. He was there for it.
Yeah.
So we cut to her out with her friends and she's talking to her friends about what she does. And what I think is really funny is that they've got like crazy squirrel-toothed Sandra Bullock at a table with what looks like early 90s Sex in the City, where it's just like a table of Carries and Samanthas, and they're just like, tell us about the chimpanzees. Her friends are bonkers.
Yes,
crazy.
it's actually very odd.
And we cut back to, well, the one thing we do get is that we find out that she's testing chimps, which is not great. I'm not a fan of animal testing, even though whenever I hear about makeup companies testing makeup on animals, I picture them like putting them on the animals like a makeover.
She's not just testing them.
Yeah.
She's taking the time to fully dress them in human clothes.
Yeah, what is that about? I mean, like we haven't gotten there yet. We should talk about it when we get there. But like she talks about an experiment where they did something to the monkey's brain so that when he hit a buzzer, it would excite him sexually. And he basically hit the buzzer till he died.
Yeah.
And they're like, just like a man. Men. But then we cut back to the bar.
As a man, Paige, I got it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's accurate.
You're like, if you told me that bananas would, give me orgasms, I would, potassium myself to death.
BANANAS.
Yeah. This jizz is bananas. Yeah.
I thought it was gack, but that was just from the last Horror Virgin episode. My bad.
Yeah. We cut back to the bar where the guys are all having drinks. And they literally pay Paul, Tate Donovan's character, $100 to go talk to a blonde at the bar. And he goes to the bar to talk to her. And she is so like...
She's mean. Yeah, she's terrible to him.
It is so mean. It's a level of mean that I am like, I am a roast comedian. And I have said some horrifying things to people. But I have never been that purposefully hurtful, I think, ever.
Yeah.
Also, if a woman asked me what designer made this top before I could have sex with any of the people I've had sex with, I would have had sex 0 times.
That is a question
same.
that if she asked that every time, she would probably have a hard time finding someone that was interested in sleeping with her.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. I mean, it's not impossible, but difficult, right? I really like that they set her up as this much of a villain, though, because of what happens later on. It makes that scene like, okay, as long as he doesn't sleep with her, I'm okay with this happening.
And he doesn't, and I think that's a good choice in the script.
And I was like, oh, they're just using it for like funsies.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the sorority house and the whole movie is ruined.
Yeah, that's where it gets dark. We'll get there when we get there, but that was bleak. But up until that point, I was like, oh, okay, he just did that to be sort of like payback. And listen, I am one of the pettiest people I know. So I was here for that payback.
Yep.
But they give him $100, which if you adjust for inflation, that's like $198 today.
Good for him.
I would go hit on someone at a bar for $200.
I mean, I wouldn't because I feel like that would cause a lot more problems for me.
Well, no, I mean if I was
being
single.
married and whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean if I was single.
Oh, if I was single, you would have had me at $20 and I would have been mad that I didn't upsell it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we cut to Sandra Bullock driving her Alta Pozzoli home, and she gets pulled over because she rolls through the stop sign, and she is trying to like, hey, please let me out. I've got like 2 moving violations. I have to keep my foot on the gas or else it stalls.
Yeah.
Could you make this a warning? And the cop is just like, nope, Uggo. Like, nice try.
I did love that guy specifically is in this movie. Do you guys recognize who that guy is?
He's my friend's dad. Yes.
What?
Yeah. Not a super close friend, like an acquaintance who we have worked together and stuff before.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
But I recognize him from Waterboy. He's one of the coaches in
Yes.
Waterboy,
Yeah.
and I love him in that movie. He's so funny. Although I can't understand anything he's saying.
He's good in like everything he does.
He's good in everything he does. He's great at this.
He is. He doesn't have a lot of
yeah.
work to do in this, but the scene where she's using the spray on him, Natalie was even like, oh, damn, he's doing some good work there. Just to see him switch from like writing her a ticket to being like super interested. Natalie was like, that was super subtle and very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
His face just kind of subtly changes.
And I trust Natalie. She's been in like Lifetime movies and shit.
Yeah.
She knows what she's talking about.
So we cut to, she gets home, Paul gets home, and we're kind of getting like an intercut between their 2 apartments where it's like they both have the same posters, they both have 0 messages. He's got a sweet stereo system, they both listen to classical music.
Yeah.
He's got an adorable kitty cat.
Yeah, he does.
And as he's putting his jacket away, the love potion falls out of his pocket. He picks it up and goes to throw it away. And we cut to her at home on the couch, and she's flipping through the channel, and everything seems to be a romance movie, and she's eating Oreos, and I'm like, oh my God, this is Paige, age 19 through 28. This is good for her.
Paige, I would be doing that on any given night. I'll watch most of the time, it's me watching rom-coms for this podcast and eating glutinos, which are like gluten-free Oreos.
I mean, it makes me really want Oreos.
I'm going to say something very controversial. Glutinos makes a like version of the Oreo that I think is better than actual Oreos, which is nuts.
Question, does it come in double stuff?
Oh, no, I don't think it does.
Then it's a pass for me
Yeah.
because I'm all about the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am not surprised that you're down for some stuffing.
Yeah, whenever I want Oreos, I want them to take that filling and dump it all inside of my mouth.
If you didn't listen to the Wicker Man episode of Horror Virgin, you're not going to get some of these jokes, but holy shit. No joke, I'm editing that episode right now, and I think we say dump it all in me like 90 times. And I even had to cut some of them out because some of the pod got too like over the top ridiculous, so I cut out like a 5-minute chunk, and man, we said it a lot.
Was it the part about Wingstop?
Oh no, that's still in there. We're getting that sponsorship.
Good. We're getting that sponsorship.
I just want free wings.
Same.
Anyway.
I want a Wingstop close to my house. That's all I want.
See, here's what you need to do with some of your 19 million, Todd. You need to franchise a Wingstop.
It's billion, Paige. I could buy Wingstop.
Buy Wingstop. Sponsor us. Like, I don't know why you still need...
If I bought Wingstop, I would definitely make a gack flavor, and you'd be like, why does this sort of smell like bleach?
I think you got to go like chili
Mikey
lime.
knows! Mikey knows!
Yeah, I know. But I think for like actual marketability, go chili lime.
Yeah, chili. You gotta go like a garlic parmy.
Okay.
See, I love garlic parm.
I'm also
love
going to have an
garlic parm,
asparagus flavor.
You're not in charge of flavors.
No, buy me the Wingstop. I'll handle the wings.
Yeah.
Anyway, their houses are kind of the same, which I think is kind of sweet. She's watching romance novels, and he answers the phone at his house, and it's his friend who's basically apologizing for making him hit on that girl. And he's like, doesn't matter, I made $100. And he sends an escort over to her.
Oh my God, yeah.
And she is a whole lot. She's constantly coughing, which like triggered me because COVID.
Oh, I know. That was the first thing I thought of when I think she coughs before he even opens the door. And I was thinking,
She coughs in every scene she's in.
know.
It's great.
But I was like, I would not open that door if there was someone outside my door coughing. I'd be like, no, I'm not getting
No.
the plague. Thank you.
I've seen Cabin Fever.
I didn't like her for 99% of the movie, and then at the end, I was very worried about her.
Well, we should be, because we're going to have to call the Avengers. I think,
Oh,
for her.
but only the female Avengers.
Oh, no, because we're just going to have to call Black Widow and Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Black Widow and Captain Marvel. If you call the other Avengers, we are fucked, Paige.
Yeah, and my brain is saying Uhura, but that's Star Trek. It's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's
Gamora.
Gamora.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fucking fuck.
I bet you could also call the tree. What's his name? Groot. I bet you could call Groot too.
You could probably call Groot. Also, hey, call Lieutenant Uhura while we're at it. Like,
why
Nichelle
not?
Nichols needs stuff to do, probably, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and she broke a lot of barriers, man. She could break some
She did.
faces, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, so they send an escort over. Then we cut to Sandra Bullock's house and her phone rings and it's Gary. And he's like, are you alone? Of course.
He's like, yo, you up?
Yo, you up? But then we cut to a few minutes later when she's clearly gotten up and like put clothes back on and whatever.
Yeah.
And she put out a cheese plate for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, you better do right, Gary. No, he does not. He is a good looking dude, 100%.
Sure.
But no.
Honestly, and this is just me speaking about my personal, like what I would want in that situation if I was him. If
Yeah.
I show up to a girl's house for a night of sweet amore and there's cheese, I might get sidetracked. You should not put out a charcuterie board. Like, I'm going to be like, oh shit, Ritz and cheese? Hang on. Let's.
I know we wanted to have sex, but could we have some Gouda first? Because
I'd be sad because I'd be like, oh, this is something I would want to do with somebody I would want a relationship with, but I don't have time for that.
yeah,
I'm going to get some Gouda and then put it in your Buddha.
Can I take some of this to go?
Oh my
you
God.
make me a to-go cheese plate?
Mikey.
You fucking bastard! That's her cheese. She gets to keep that cheese.
Yeah.
You don't get to get cheese if you don't like cuddle and invest. Cheese is for winners.
No, I really appreciate this gift. It's a gift.
While she's in the bathroom.
While she's in the bathroom freshening up, are you going to tell Mikey to steal her cheese like he's already stolen her virtue?
Oh,
Get
like
full-
that
I
matters,
if you-
Paige.
what's worse, Paige? I mean, like
Stealing
if
my
you're all-
cheese. If you came over, I care a lot about the cheese in this scenario.
So do I. That's my point. I would be concerned that I would get sidetracked. I'd be like, do you want to watch Casablanca and eat cheese? Because that sounds like an equally good night to me.
Not me. I'd be like, how much can I put in my hoodie on the way out?
You've got like bits of cheese that have like hoodie particles on it. Like it's like furry cheese at this point. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to eat these.
It's like the scene in Napoleon Dynamite where he's got the tater tots in his pocket and the
Yeah.
other guy just takes his
Those are
pocket.
tots? Ugh.
Give me your tots.
That's my cheese pocket.
Okay, you're right. So I have to find a Ziploc bag in her kitchen. It could be done. We could do it. I'd probably just ask her. I'd be like, hey, can I borrow some of this cheese?
Borrow.
And she's like, no, if I don't get to come, you don't get to cheese.
Well, then I got to go.
And this cheese is gonna stay. I'm gonna console myself after I like vibrate, buzz myself into oblivion with this cheese. Anyway, he doesn't even really want to talk to her.
No, he's a real bad dude. But I got the impression
Yeah.
that she's probably, I don't know, like 28, 29. And they've
Yeah.
been like together, quote unquote, since like high school, like maybe early college.
Or just on and off for a few years. She says 10 years
10.
at one point.
She does, yeah.
So yeah, maybe like freshman year of college.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, and again, this is a communication thing and it's partially her. It's not all him. But like, I think she wants something more. And I think she wants someone who's actually going to invest in her and her feelings. And I think to him, she's just convenient and he doesn't actually have any feelings for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. When he was like, all right, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, because they have sex and she's like, hey, and she goes to like cuddle and he's like, see you later. And just like, badoop, out.
I mean, he pulls I got to take my dog out, right?
Yeah, I gotta poop.
He doesn't even do that. Oh, yeah, I got to poop.
Anyway, we cut back to Paul's house where he is dealing with Marissa, who asks for Tanqueray.
Yeah.
And I was like, not everyone just keeps Tanqueray around. Like, if you have a bar set up, sure. But like, he's like, can I get you some wine? And she's like, gin? And he's like, yeah, I think I've got gin. And she's like, Tanqueray, to be specific. I was like, all right. But she's basically casing the place.
Oh,
like, she
yeah.
wants to rob him 100%.
Yeah, because her boyfriend or whatever that guy is who's out in the the car.
Employer?
Yeah, let's just leave it
business
at
partner.
that. Yeah, let's leave it at that.
Carpool friend. But so she excuses herself to go to the restroom, freshens up, and goes through all of his stuff. She like excavates his bathroom and then is drinking like his cough syrup.
So insane. But I love her in this movie. Like, she is a terrible person in this movie, but like, I really do like her character because she's like over
so
the top.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly wanted more of her and Gator's relationship. And I don't know if Gator's his name, but that's how I choose to see him. And if you get that reference, you've seen The Other Guys with Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Good movie.
So funny.
So she comes back out to the car and is like, he just wanted to talk, but you should see his stereo. It's worth thousands. And from that point on, we know that eventually she's coming back for that stereo.
Oh, yeah.
That's back in the day when like
stereos cost thousands.
And like you wanted to have a nice one.
I actually do want to have a nice one. It's one of the things that I have like on my list for like when we get a nice new place to get like a good stereo setup because I have a vinyl collection. But so meanwhile, the cat's getting into the trash again. It licks the love potion, and then it invites all of the cats over for a cat orgy.
I do love that the first thing it does is go to the window, and it's like, let's do this!
Yes, at the window, just like, Jellicle, songs for Jellicle cats, Jellicle, songs for Jellicle cats. Yeah, that's for those of you who saw Cats. Because, I don't know, this is when this movie got great for me, because there were kitties.
I know, and there were so many. I love when Tate Donovan comes out of his room and like falls over a cat onto the ground.
And it's not his cat? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not his cat. But like then there's just like a shitload of cats coming in through the window.
And some of them are small baby cats.
Yeah, they're little baby kitty.
Little baby kitties.
Mikey does not love cats like we love cats, Paige.
Cats are amazing.
I like
They're so
cats.
soft, and they have fun personalities.
I like cats.
Do you want one?
No.
Okay. Well, then I still have 5, Paige.
I want a baby.
Babies aren't soft.
Babies are definitely soft.
Not the same as cats.
No, they have less hair. Unless you're Todd baby.
I came out fully body haired.
Like, if you don't think that any baby my husband and I produce is not going to come out half Wookiee, you have not seen us.
Yeah.
I haven't seen near enough of one of you.
Well, I'll try to wear something more revealing
No,
next
not
time.
you, Paige. But I did buy Jake a kilt for Christmas, and I sent it to you. Did you guys get it?
No, we did not. But my dad owns a few, and one time we went to the Scottish games by my parents' house, and my dad was like, I could loan you a kilt, like for the day.
And Paige was like, yes, you can.
and he chose not to wear it. So whatever, it's fine.
I've worn a kilt. It was fun.
Airy,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
It was breezy.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the experience. It was for a wedding, but it was fun. I wore pants underneath it. Is that weird? I don't.
That's super fucking weird.
just kidding, I didn't.
Weird layered freak. Is it because you couldn't fit into the kilt, you skinny bitch?
No, I didn't. In fact, I've worn weird things for weddings. I've worn a turban in a wedding too. I've worn a kilt for one wedding and a turban for another one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
It was that arranged marriage Sikh wedding that I went to. That was honestly awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those weddings are dope. Anyway, so back to the Jellicle cats.
Yeah.
And they're having a fun party orgy in Tate Donovan's house. We cut to the next day at work when he rushes into Sandra Bullock's experiment where she has dressed the monkeys in people clothes.
Yeah. So she dresses them in people clothes, like layered.
They look sharp. Like for as far as monkeys go, they are dressed very affluently.
They are dressed like rich monkeys, although the girl monkey definitely is dressed for a first communion, which I find
Yes.
weird.
And
I found it more Little House on the Prairie than Rich.
Same,
You know,
same.
because she's in like a dressy dress and he's in like overalls and like a country button down.
Well, I feel like she took them off Chucky dolls and then put them on the monkeys.
that could be. I don't know.
I don't know if doll clothes fit monkeys. If you have a monkey that you dress, maybe you could tell
I
us.
think
But
it's
also,
just people clothes, like kid clothes, Paige.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's confusing.
You never been to your Walmart monkey clothing section?
Yeah, it's right next to the gator nail polish. Fucking weird. Anyway, so he rushes in. He tells her about what happened with the cats, which I want to know how he got all those cats out of his house.
After 4 hours, they were probably like, "What have I done with my life?" I
well,
have
they're
to
like,
leave."
this is a nice cheese plate, but I gotta go.
I feel so much shame. Just like, what has happened? But I think it would be kind of funny if through the rest of the movie, whenever we're in his house, different cats run through the background. Like he just was never able to get rid of them. Yeah. Anyway, so this takes us through a brief montage of like what this stuff does. And they give it to the monkey first.
But just the girl monkey is in the room.
Just the girl monkey. And she makes monkey sounds. And they're like, does that sound weird to you? And it's like, well, you're not a monkey.
I do love it. Like, Tate Donovan does ask Sandra Bullock that, and she's like, no, that sounds like a normal monkey sound to me. And then you start to hear beating on the wall, and then the other monkey attacks the girl monkey through the wall.
Yeah, and she has to lock herself in her cage.
He created a glorious hole, if you will.
But he had no crab rangoons, Mikey.
He didn't. But if he swung through with some crab rangoons, I mean, maybe she would have been more willing to accept his advances.
I wish I loved someone enough to Kool-Aid man through the wall. And have sex with them.
You'll find your person, Mikey. You'll find that person.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck? That's my wall. That's a load-bearing wall, you asshole. Yeah.
I like how Mikey is slowly taking over my bank account, apparently, through this episode.
I would make money, too, with the potion. Like, if I was super rich, I'd make a house where you could go through walls and have sex with other people. That makes sense.
Hold on. I think when we were doing all of our potion planning, we forgot the fact that Mikey is the single one, and we should just be making him sleep with people to get us money.
We should be doing that now.
What do you think this podcast is for? We've been pimping you out this entire time.
Well, you know who I'm looking for next is Lady Wingstop of the Wingstop family.
Of the Wingstops of Manhattan? Yes. Of the Manhattan Wingstops?
Yeah, I'm not going to Mars if I'm a billionaire. I'm building a house full of Kool-Aid man paper thin walls so I can bust through there and then bust something else.
It's like those, like the old school Japanese like style homes with like the very rice paper walls.
No, it's like a house just made of stuff from like stuntman companies where I can like take a bottle and bust it over my head, jump through a wall.
He has 2 employees just to carry like sugar glass back and forth through his house so he can just run through it.
Oh, you're coming home with me from a bar? Oh, we got to go to my special house. Well, I'm like, are you ready? And I break the door in half. I'm like, I'm taking you through.
Mikey, what you call foreplay, first off, is not foreplay, but it is very strange.
I was picturing a very quiet, peaceful dojo, and Mikey just bursting through the wall and being like, can I dump it all in you? Like that level of energy.
I need some artwork out there. If you're an artist, I need Mikey, but looking like the Kool-Aid man, bursting through a wall and just saying, can I dump it all in you in the speech bubble above it?
Instead of, oh yeah.
Just, can I dump it all in you?
Can I dump it all in you?
Oh my God. Anybody out there that's good with art, do that.
I don't want that to be my podcast catchphrase.
I legit will start a Romancing the Pod merch store, and I will put that on a shirt.
I can put it. I don't want to dump it all in you.
Just don't buy one for your mom, Mikey. It'll be fine.
Oh.
But then who's going to be his vacation date? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, Mikey's mom, who made a special guest appearance on the While You Were Sleeping episode.
Yeah, when Mikey tried to shame nurses.
That was probably my favorite part of that episode. Oh my God, it was so funny.
Anyway.
We're not nearly far enough into this movie.
No.
We're like 6 inches in.
Mikey, I've seen your vitamin water. It's more than that.
I feel like that's about 3 inches too many. What do you, like, got half a hip in there?
He measures from underneath the ball sack.
The yaw of the shaft.
Yeah.
I measure from sea level.
Sea level? C being the crack.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next scene is what scene are we on?
So they gave it to the monkey. The monkey humps himself to sleep.
No, he humps himself to completion and then falls asleep.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
that's
like
what
you
it
do.
is.
Yeah. That's what that monkey do.
They synthesize it so that they can have like a spray version. And this is where we kind of get the rules for the potion, where it only works for 4 hours at a time. It's tied to how your voice sounds to people of the opposite sex. And it's very specific that people of the same sex become hostile to you.
Right.
Which I do think is... They get real weird about it has to be the same sex, like, or it has to be the opposite sex, it has to whatever. But I'm going to chalk it up to being the 90s.
Yeah.
Anyway. They want to test it on humans, but they need to find test subjects they could trust. So they decide to test it on themselves and not talk to each other for 3 weeks.
Right.
And then see what happens out in the world. So we cut to Sandra Bullock driving home. She runs the stop sign, gets pulled over by that same cop.
By Paige's friend's dad. Yeah.
Yeah. And as she's reaching for like her driver's license, the potion falls out. She takes it. And as she like hands her ID and everything over, she says, "Here you go." And she kind of like coughs and we see the pen stop.
Yeah.
And then we watch his face change. It's really great.
It is really great. It's great acting work, which is a weird thing to say about anyone in this movie.
Yeah. So he lets her off with a warning and was like, could we maybe go out for a drink? And she says no, but she goes home, opens the letter and finds out that her insurance has been canceled. So she goes to the office and the first person she's supposed to deal with is a lady until she asks around to find out who that lady's boss was, who was the district manager.
Yeah.
It's the 90s.
It is
saying.
the 90s, yeah.
So she does find her supervisor. It is a man. She gets him to reinstate her insurance.
Yes.
And as she's leaving, she's staring at jewelry in like a shop window. And she's basically is like, ooh, it's beautiful. Like she's kind of talking to herself. And he overhears her and sends like his henchman to buy it. And he's like a powerful, rich suit guy. And he just follows her. He just stalks her.
Yeah.
Like, has anybody ever told you how beautiful you are? Nobody in their right mind, which she's still beautiful. It's still Sandy
She
B.
is, yeah.
She's like, have you seen my gap in my one of my teeth?
Yeah.
Literally the sex scene where she's having sex as a quote unquote ugly person. And you like, they have to like cut away because her body is so gorgeous.
Oh, and they are dressing her as frumpily as possible in every scene. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their like ugly hookup was like, I was like, damn. I'm like,
Like,
okay.
damn, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, can I get some of that cheese?
Yeah. You had like a set of knives and charcuterie or everything. Girl, you are charcute to me. Give me some of that cheese.
Hell yeah, Paige.
Anyways, so he literally stalks her back to her car.
Yeah.
He gives her the necklace. She doesn't want to accept it until,
I love this part so much, Paige.
because her car won't start.
Yeah.
And it's that Italian car. He reveals that he's Enrico Pizzoli. His company makes those cars. And so she does take the
Yeah,
necklace.
she immediately is like, oh, and then I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He invites her to a party that night and talks her into going because she doesn't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
She is getting ready at home. She sprays before walking out the door and he shows up in a tux and she's like, well, I don't have a gown or anything. So he takes her to get a gown.
Yeah.
We cut to,
She's so damn charming in this movie.
Yes.
She is.
Oh, yeah.
In every movie.
I mean, it's the level of charm that led her to, when she was nominated for a Razzie, show up to accept the award with a wagon full of DVD copies of the movie she was getting the Razzie for and hand them out to everyone and be like, I think if you guys give it another look, you might change your mind. But thank you. Thank you for the award. And everyone loved her for it because no one ever accepts their Razzie. It's like the only time it's ever happened. It's pretty
I
great.
didn't even know that happened, and that makes me love her so much more.
Was it Speed 2?
Hilarious.
No, it was for The Blind Side.
No,
Oh,
no.
Sorry, that was Golden Globe. What was it for? Hang on one second.
Oh, so that was a real award she won.
I was
for
gonna say, I was like,
acting.
Blindside was a decent movie. Like, what are you talking about?
So, fun fact, she won the Oscar for The Blind Side Best Actress literally the day after she won the Razzie.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What did she win it for?
All About Steve. Yeah, it was All About Steve.
Okay.
Oh, that movie is not good.
No, but what did she say specifically? If you're going to win a Razzie, then that's the way to do it and have fun with it. I wish there were more people with that combination of self-deprecation and guts.
Yeah, apparently she and Halle Berry has accepted the Razzie in person.
For Catwoman, I believe.
Catwoman, yeah, is what she accepted it
Yeah.
for. But she showed up because she just doesn't take herself that seriously, I guess, which is great. You
No.
shouldn't. Like, that is how you should handle that sort of thing.
Absolutely. But so she said, this is the deal we're going to make. You promise to watch the movie and really consider whether it was really and truly the worst performance. If you're willing to watch it, I will come back next year and give back the Razzie. Basically. She also joked that she was willing to go page by page through her dialogue so we could be here for a while, but I'll read it the way I read it in the film, and then everyone who wants to give you a reading of how I could have done it better. So we could do this till about 4 o'clock in the morning, or you guys could rewatch the movie and rethink your decision, and I'll show up next year and we can all go for a drink after.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so they get to the party where she meets Prince Joffrey, who
That's not his real name, though, right? It's not Joffrey.
I think it's Jeffrey. It's Jeffrey with a G. And so in my brain, it immediately went to Joffrey.
Of
and
the
I was
Toys R Us
poison
fame?
him. Of the Toys R Us fame. No, of Westeros. I think it's Jeffrey. This sounds terrible. He has the same bland look about him that we saw in A Princess for Christmas. It's that same kind of like bland Englishman.
It is, but it's Dylan Baker, who's like one of those, oh, it's that guy guys.
Yeah.
And he's been in a shitload of stuff and is not at all British. He's he's like a New Yorker. Like, he's not at all British. Yeah.
But his hilariously bad British accent in this, mwah, chef's kiss.
I loved it. Yeah.
But at this party, Sandy B is like wowing everybody. There's like a whole group of guys listening to her.
Well, because she's wearing the potion.
Well, she's taken the potion. You don't wear a potion, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She's right in the buildings. It's fine.
That is so mean to me. Todd is so scared of you, Paige. If he doesn't like a movie but you like it, he'll be like, I like this movie because I'm Todd. I don't want to get a disagree with Paige.
As it should be.
I will be who I want to be, Todd.
I think Paige and I have disagreed on movies before.
We have. Like, when I said it wasn't cheating in 6 days and 7 nights. It is the Outlander paradox.
No, I agree with you, Paige. I agree with you, Paige.
I like how you said that I never disagree with Paige and then you immediately like jumped to her side.
6 days, 7 nights was not. Well, they didn't even sleep together on the island.
They didn't, no. I was more referencing David Schwimmer and the French Polynesian person.
They were dead.
They were on a break from the land of the living.
Yes. We won't get it.
Yeah, we don't have to relitigate 6 days, 7 nights. We already did that.
So.
Oh, by the way, I did want to point this out. Our 6 days, 7 nights episode was our 76th episode just by chance.
Wow,
right?
we didn't even plan that.
Well, my pick for next week is going to be...
Is it all about Steve?
No. I cannot follow your Sandra Bully train anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, she gets home from the party and she has 67 messages. And I was like, was she just handing people her phone number? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, that's weird.
What concerns me is that she probably wasn't. They probably have just like a phone book. And it was just people who like found out what her name was and then looked up her number.
See, alternate option. The cop has her phone number because of the ticket.
Yeah.
And he's just called her 67 times.
Honestly, I'd love that so much. Like if we got like a really quick montage of just him calling.
Yeah.
And honestly, this movie could have used more of him.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, we cut over to Paul's house. He hasn't taken it yet, but he showers, he gets dressed, he sprays it, and then he goes out prowling for that girl who did him wrong. And I do love that they play Lowrider
Yes.
the entire time.
Yeah.
It's great. But he basically talks to her and she's like on him. She's like trying to get at the family jewels. She's trying to access the cash and prizes at the bar.
Oh yeah, she's like grinding on him and then goes to unzip his pants.
Yeah.
But that's because she was like all trying to play mysterious and he was like, yeah, I don't like mysterious. That sounds like bullshit to me. And she's like, oh, I was just joking. I'm exactly whatever you wanted me to be.
I like direct.
Yep.
And then, he says, I like direct. And so she is very direct.
Very direct. And then he says, if you can answer this question, I'll be everything you ever wanted. I'll go home with you. And asks her some science question that I couldn't transcribe in time and that she definitely couldn't answer. And he just goes, bye now, and leaves.
I love that
the
part
bar.
so much.
I loved it. And I do love that he doesn't sleep with her.
Same.
But he literally pays her back exactly in kind and then leaves. But he still felt the urge to continue research. And so we see him sit next to a pretty blonde at a bar and just barely whisper to her. And she immediately ignores the guy she's talking to and turns to him.
Yeah.
So like, it's real. And what I think is really interesting is he says in his voiceover, it eliminated any fear that you weren't good enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, so imagine if you didn't have that fear to begin with. Like, that's something you could change without a potion. And I do think that's what happens with him and Sandra Bullock. But I thought it was really interesting that they include that in the voiceover.
Oh, I meant to tell you this. Did you guys recognize that blonde at the bar?
No.
Her name in this movie is Cheryl. She was also...
Oh, the first one.
Yeah. Did you guys recognize her?
She looked familiar and I couldn't place her. Where is she from?
So she was just in Love Hard. She was the stepmother of... What was his character's name? Jimmy O.
Jimmy
Yang.
O. Yang's character?
Yeah, Jimmy O. Yang's
really?
character. She was the stepmom.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Go for her.
I know, right? She's worked a bunch other than that, but like, yeah, she was in that movie too. Yeah, both movies that I picked.
There you
Apparently
go.
I have a thing for this lady and I did not know.
And you didn't even know. But we see a montage of him, and I think it's interesting that the montage starts with that voiceover of like, it eliminated the fear that you weren't good enough, but it ends with him being like, you don't even have to be funny or intelligent or insightful. And I'm like, you're taking the wrong thing from this.
Yeah. It could have been about just having better and more confidence in yourself. And he goes the other way of, you can be a horrible person and still get women. It goes like the incel route and not like the, just be more confident and approach people.
Which honestly, I think Sandra Bullock goes the confident route.
Yes.
And I think that's why they get different things, which is kind of interesting. But so then we cut to Rush Week.
Oof.
And it's implied that he just wrecks a whole sorority house.
Yeah, that's not good. At this point in the movie, I looked over at Natalie and I was like, oh, I don't like this part at all.
Yeah,
It's pretty terrible.
Magoof.
Yeah.
But then we get an amazing scene at Sandra Bullock's house where she gets home with the prince, because now she is dating the prince. And who should show up but Gary? And she's like, go fuck yourself, Gary. I saved the cheese plate for the prince, and now he's the king of my cheese palace. And then Gary has to leave.
The best part of that, though, is she doesn't say shit to Gary. The bodyguard outside radios a bodyguard inside, and then they relay the message through the bodyguard outside. I was like, hell yeah, Gary, get fucked.
Yep. You don't deserve her cheese plate. Yeah. If you don't appreciate her at her cheese plate, you don't deserve her when she's charcuterie. Fuck him. Fuck Gary.
There we go. I'm down with that.
I like how you bailed on the joke and went to pay dirt. You know what's going to work. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so he leaves. We cut to the police station where Paul has been arrested because of the panty raid law, and she has come to bail him out. And she looks amazing, but isn't talking to him because she is using the potion.
Yeah.
But we see that she has a haircut. She's gotten her teeth fixed. She's got nice clothes.
She looks banging.
She looks amazing.
Yeah, she does look
looks so
amazing.
good. And so they have this kind of fun conversation where she's like written on cards and they're like talking without talking. It's very cute. And we get outside and she puts him in the limo with her and the prince, and she can't talk in front of the prince. So there's kind of this very cute, like, oh, you're playing the mute game. Oh, fun. Like the mute game again.
I like this because it does set up that she probably doesn't really talk around other men other than the prince, because she doesn't want to get a bunch of people attracted to her, just the prince. Which I was like, oh, she's being responsible with his power, and he is just the opposite of that.
Which I think they kind of set up with the joke about the monkey who fucked himself to death in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, and the monkey who humped himself to completion and then fell asleep when they tested it.
Yeah, exactly. So they talk Paul into coming to the event that night where it's like an art auction, but with a gala and whatever. So we get there, and this reminded me of one of the things that they've talked about with the potion, where it makes people of the opposite sex kind of competitive and combative. And he's clearly kind of jealous of the prince in this scene a little bit, where he's like trying to get her attention and then moves on to like pretty much every lady that's there. They're like playing poker and betting their nylons and whatever. And he almost gets thrown out of the party.
Well, yeah, he's playing strip poker at like a very fancy event, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, you're going to get kicked out for that shit.
We've all been there.
She and the prince go to leave, and he tries to follow them, and he gets stuck behind a painting that clearly has the entire alphabet on it. I thought that was very funny, because he's like DEFGHI, and he's like, fuck it, and like ducks under it.
Yeah, I love that. Also, is that art? Question mark. I don't understand art. We'll have to ask Andrea. I don't know. Yeah. I would trust her opinion over mine any day.
So he goes home and he's watching on the news, and it's talking about how this was kind of like a Playboy prince, where he was kind of like a womanizer.
Yeah.
He's a womanizer. And he's now dating a, quote, American monkey psychiatrist.
Now he's the player formerly known as Prince.
Yeah, nailed it. Did you write that joke, Mikey?
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway, he meets up with Sandra Bullock the next day, and she's like, he asked me to marry him. I told him I'd think about it. And he's like, well, why would you tell him that? And she says, all my life I felt ugly, and now I have the most desirable man in the world telling me I'm beautiful, and I could be a princess. Like, I haven't had a date in years. Like, why wouldn't I do this? And he's like, well, what about our date? And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, we went to lunch. And she's like, that's not an actual date. We just went to lunch because we were both going to lunch. Like, if you wanted to ask me on a date, you could like ask me out to dinner and like come pick me up. Like, make it a date. Like, tell me how you actually feel. Don't leave it up to me to infer.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And I know I have a dubious track record on dates, but I've been to lunch with a lot of people I work with, and none of those were dates.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No, none of those were dates. I don't even think you have a good track record is probably.
No, I said dubious track record.
I go to lunch at work, back when we were still in person, with people of the opposite gender all the time. Yeah. And it's like not even a thing. Yeah. That's not weird. And she's right that he was not clear in his intentions. I think that was a very fair criticism. And so he does ask her out and is like, well, I'll pick you up. And so at that point, she's like, this definitely is a date. They go on a date, no potion. And it is like immediate chemistry. Yeah. And they are boning it out. Yeah. Like, good for them. Yeah. Like, woof. They're making out in the romance novel section. Oof. Yeah.
And we already knew Tate Donovan was into her because he admitted it earlier. Yeah. I don't think we knew that she was into him, but she clearly is.
She clearly is.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of my whole favorite part of the movie is their montage.
Absolutely.
I want it to be longer. It's only like 5 minutes long.
It's only like 5 minutes longer. I wish we got more time seeing them together because I feel like for me, that's what I really like about this movie is we know that he was into her before she was pretty. They are friends. They have an existing relationship. They're not using the potion. They don't care about the pretty people who didn't care about them before. They are super into each other. Love it. And then this movie goes off the fucking rails. It's like...
But it does escalate super quickly. Like, it is like them at work figuring out the potion, them testing out the potion, and then that montage from like them going on that first real date to he's going to propose is like 3 minutes. And then it goes off the rails completely when he gets there with the ring.
They're like, here's all the romance. 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You're done.
And when you get to that romance part, you're at minute like 50 and there's 40 minutes left in the movie. And I was just like, what are we going to do for 40 minutes? I think we solved it. Like, what's going on? And it was clearly somebody wrote most of a script and was like, oh, shit. It's only like 40 pages long. What are we going to do? Like, and then decided to tack on whatever the third act is.
Craziness.
So, it's something. Yeah. It's something.
Yeah. He shows up at her house. She's ghosting him. She's not answering the phone. He's getting like wrong number calls. He finally gets her on the phone. He goes to her house. He shows up and she's like, great. It's so great that we became friends last week. And he's like, I'm sorry.
Friends?
I was knee deep in your cheese board and balls deep in you for a whole week. I don't think we're friends anymore.
Yeah,
like,
I dumped it all in you repeatedly last week.
Yeah. And she's like, well, I was seeing somebody on and off for 10 years and there were problems and it's Gary. And I was like, no, Gary's the worst. And he has that creepy snake pinky ring.
Oh, kiss the ring, ladies.
I don't like pinky rings. I'll just say it.
It's an interesting look. I've seen people pull it off, but it's tough to do.
Yeah, same. In fact, the only people I've seen wear pinky rings that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It was like a family signet ring.
Yes.
That like everyone in their family wore. I was like, that's dope as shit. That's cool. I like it. Everything else, like if it's a snake with the ruby eye, I'm out.
Yeah.
Mikey, I'll make us all like horror virgin signet rings and then we can wear them around.
Yeah. She says, don't be upset. We can still be friends, can't we? And then my husband walked through the room as I was watching this and says, oh, damn, he got cucked by mysticism and then just kept walking.
Holy shit, that's so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was amazing. But anyway, he at this point is like, I've got to get her back. So I have to talk to her and find out what's wrong with him. And we basically reveal that he's keeping her prisoner. Like, he is using the potion on her constantly.
Yeah, like this is one of those consent issues because he's using the potion clearly, right? And like he will not let her out of his sight or earshot through the phone for more than 4 hours, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Think about waking your like loved one up every 4 hours to whisper something in their ear while they're sleeping or something.
I mean, I do that, but not in like a creepy kidnap way. It's just like, hey, I'm just like really glad you're here. Like,
it's just like that Ouija origin of evil way that's just like with your eyes all rolled back in your head?
They actually wake me up. They're like, you're taking up too much of the bed. And I'm like, am I? Boom, back in the game. Because I'm at the potion on.
Yeah, because he's using the potion page. I got it, Mikey. I got it.
No, I have a thing where like sometimes I can't sleep, so I like wake them up and say something nice, and then they're like, why the fuck are you waking me up?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought we could share a sweet moment. They're like, sweet moments are for the daytime.
Yeah, sweet moments are for when I'm conscious.
I'll just cry with my PTSD over on my side of the bed. Good night.
There you go.
I assumed we would just wake them up and be like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my place.
This is your place. Okay, I'm going to have to put your shoes on, and I've called you an Uber.
He's like, I don't live in a paper house. This is just for this purpose. I'm going to go break through the other wall now.
Thanks for letting me dump it all in you.
Oh, yeah. Ooh,
Oh, Mikey, I know how I'm
why.
going to spend a lot of my $19 billion. And you're going to benefit, Mikey.
I've been genetically modified to be a pitcher.
I have a glass exoskeleton.
I'm very
Save
fragile.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Because Todd used that $19 billion to buy a fly machine and then put a pitcher of Kool-Aid in
That's
it.
what it was.
I transported, but I was holding a pitcher of
Of
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid. Anyway, so he comes back to his house, and Marissa, the escort, is there. And she again excavates his bathroom and finds the potion and uses it to rob him of his stereo and pretty much everything he has. So we cut to, he goes to Madame Ruth, the fortune teller, and is just like, hey, can I get more of that stuff? And she's like, no, somebody else bought all of it. And we reveal that it is Gary.
Yeah.
So he gets all his friends together and is like, here's what we got to do. We got to roofie Sandra Bullock with magic. And they're just like, hang on, guy. Roofie is a strong word.
Well, they don't even believe that love potion number 8 is a thing, let alone love potion number 9, right?
Number 9's
Right.
the cure. Number 8's with the one they've been using all movie.
No, I know, but like they don't know that it's a thing. These are his friends that just came over to help him with his like roofie job.
Right.
Yeah.
And what we do find out about number 9 when he goes to the fortune teller is that essentially it brings out feelings that were already there. Does that make sense? Where it's
Yes.
like, if they loved you, they'll love you.
So that's a potion I would be interested in.
Yes. I'm okay with number 9.
Same.
Because the implication is she had those feelings already, and it is just going to make her act true to her feelings.
Yes.
So anyway, as they're discussing their plan, Marissa comes over and robs all of them. And tries to find out who has more of love potion number 8. But because she's robbed all of them, now they're having to like cancel their credit cards and everything. And now they believe him. So now they're going to they're in on his plan to roofie Sandra Bullock with potions. And they go to her house where they run into one of her bridesmaids. And the bridesmaid is like, yeah, something has been weird is going on. Like, this is not, something's up.
Right.
So they get her in on their plan, and she does this whole thing of trying to spike champagne and get her to kind of toast with the right glass. And she does get her to drink it, but then Gary also drinks it and kisses her.
Yeah.
And then she'll fall in love with whoever she fell in love with first. But because they're the only two that have drank from the glass, he hasn't drank from the glass yet.
It's actually whoever she loves the most, not who she loved
That's what it
first.
is.
Because that would have been Gary. She didn't know Tate Donovan until after she met Gary, right?
I mean, Gary drinks it first. Paul hasn't drank it yet.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So he breaks in, he drinks from the same glass, he tries to kiss her, but he can't. And he basically is trying to explain what's going on. Doesn't matter. He gets carried out, ends up at the police station. Meanwhile, Marissa, the escort, has tracked down the whole bottle and she kisses Gary. And because she doesn't love Gary, he tastes gross to her. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And she tries to drink pure love potion number 8, even though you're supposed to dilute it.
Yeah. When she was slapping the back of that bottle and it was like glooping into her mouth. No, it's thicker than ketchup. It's like it is like gack. And I was like, that is gross.
Yep. But so we cut to the wedding and they go through with the wedding People don't stand up and interrupt it. No one says their piece because Paul is at the police station. And Marissa shows up at the wedding and people go fucking nuts. It's like that church scene in Kingsman. It's fucking wild.
That church scene in Kingsman is badass, though. I love that shit.
It.
Yeah.
I love it so much. So they all run outside chasing her, men, women alike, because women hate her. Men want her.
Want to be her. Yes.
Yeah, men want to be her. Men want to be inside of her. Meanwhile, Paul is at the police station. Everyone's chasing. They chase through the police station. He covers his ears. And I love that when he stands back up from covering his ears, the chairs around him are gone because the guys handcuffed to them have run after her.
Yeah.
But it's like a tornado through there.
Yeah.
So he runs outside, he steals a sweet car, and then we get a lot of shots that are much like the end of The Graduate, where he's going to interrupt that wedding in The Graduate, where it's the shot across the dashboard. So he pulls up to the wedding, he gets out, he runs and he kisses Diane, and she runs to hug Gary, and he kind of punches Gary.
I love that he punches Gary
over her head. He almost hits
over
her.
Head. It's like in an action movie where a terrorist is holding a woman hostage, and someone shoots the terrorist, and that's how he punches Gary. She is right there, and he punches him off of her.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Meanwhile, Marissa is chasing everyone through town. She ends up in an alley with no exit, at which point I really started to worry for her.
Yeah, I did too. All the village people caught up.
Yeah. She hides behind a dumpster. They move the dumpster. She says no, and they stop. But now she realizes that she has kind of an army at her disposal. So she has them hop on one foot, grab their nipples, and then she's like, oh, now we're going to do a little magic, which again, I'm like, she is the Joker.
Yeah.
She is now a superhero level villain with this power, at least for the next 3.5 hours.
Well, yeah, but she still has the whole bottle, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so she is if she learns to dilute it, this thing will last a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, Paul has walked outside the church and he's waiting, and the 5 minutes passes, and he says, I'd like to tell you that she came running out into my arms, but that's not what happened. It took 6 minutes. So it took the extra minute.
Yeah.
But
I like that he's crying already. That would be me.
I would have cried too, Mikey.
I cried at the end. I was so glad to see them together. But so they decide to get out of here, and we reveal that the fortune teller was watching it through the crystal ball.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, that's nice. And that's the movie.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, what do you guys think about Love Potion number 9?
I like 2/3 of this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I like 2/3 of this movie too. Obviously, there are consent issues for a lot of this movie. So if you can sort of forgive that, it's a lot better. If you can't, I completely understand.
Yeah, fully, yes.
I think it's bonkers enough where it's funny.
Yeah, you've got to firmly lean into the magical realism of this world for it to not be a horribly, horribly unwatchable film.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a dark version of this movie that could easily be made.
I feel like we get one scene of that, and that is the sorority house scene.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Is that it? No more final thoughts?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie speaks for itself. I mean, I don't think it's very good.
I want to know what happened to those monkeys. Do you think the monkeys are still together?
No, they actually died in the research.
Oh, that was bleak. So, Paige, you have some fun facts for us?
Yeah, I guess.
Fun fact 1, those monkeys actually died during research.
Oh.
Fun fact 1, apes together strong.
Oh, hell yeah. Wall Street Bets, Paige.
No, Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes, dude.
Oh, sorry. That's a Wall Street Bets things, too. Yeah.
That's where they got it from.
I've never seen Planet of the Apes. I'm sorry.
What? Okay, the one with apes together strong, where the apes, I think it's Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That one is really good.
Oh, so you're not talking about the Charlton Heston version?
No, but that is also
the
pretty
new
fucking
ones.
fun too, because
Yeah.
that's the one that has the "Damn you, dirty apes!"
Yeah, I've seen that. But yeah, I mean, just as a GIF on
No, this is. I think
Twitter.
it's James Franco in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
What? I need to see this movie.
It's the more recent ones. And it's not funny. It's just a good but also sad movie.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. Okay. I mean, I'm not against it. I just haven't seen it.
Have you not seen that whole trilogy?
No, there's a trilogy. I thought it was one movie.
Yes.
No, there's a trilogy.
Oh,
There's
shit.
a trilogy,
Okay.
And the
it's-
first one just sets up. The second one is the last two are. Whew, Woody Harrelson comes in it. It's great.
What?
Yeah.
He dumps in it?
He dumps in it.
No, he does not. But it's the apes learn to speak and they learn to band together, and so that's the apes together strong, and you're just like, yeah, like do it, apes, and then they ruin the planet Earth. So maybe are we paying the price of our hubris of science?
Wait, is this like the origin story for the Charlton Heston version? Because in that version,
Yes.
it's literally Earth became like a planet of just apes, right?
Yes. So
Oh,
this is
no
the origin
shit,
story of how
okay.
that happens.
So like like the first movie, we can spoil it, right? A little bit.
Yeah, that movie's like 20 years
Like
old.
it ends with like Caesar and James Franco like accidentally releasing the virus that kills most of humanity.
I'm sorry, Julius
Yeah.
Caesar?
No, the monkey's name is Caesar.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was like,
Yeah.
is it like a Bill and Ted time travel thing too?
Look, Dr. Zayas didn't have his PhD yet, so Caesar's the one who's handling
I
it.
think it's Dr. Zayas, right?
Dr. Zayas is still in night school.
Okay.
Anyway.
I got to see it. I'm so sorry we went on a 5-minute Planet of the Apes tangent, but I will definitely check out those movies because they sound pretty fucking dope.
They do. But Rise from the Planet of the Apes very specifically is very anti-animal testing. So,
Well,
there you
good.
go. I mean, if animals want to have makeovers, they can, but that should be their choice. I know that's not what they mean when they mean testing and it's bad, but like I just picture like a Bichon Frise with a lot of blush on and it makes me laugh really hard. Anyway, fun facts.
Yeah, let's do some fun facts, Paige. Hit us with your fun facts. Make
Ape
up
strong fun facts.
facts.
So even though the movie's called Love Potion number 9, as we kind of highlighted as we went through it, Love Potion number 8 is the one used through most of the film. 9 is only used in the end. The sorority house that Paul enters for the panty raid is an actual sorority house. It's the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity house at Georgia Tech. So it's a fraternity house, but
Yeah.
So it's a real Greek letter organization house. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Diane's apartment is number 1 and Paul's apartment is number 8. And added together, they make 9.
Oh, that is adorable.
And if you thought they had pretty great chemistry in this movie, you're not wrong. They actually dated from 1990 to 1994. So this was
Wow.
made right in the middle of that.
Oh, that's actually awesome. And they do have great chemistry.
They do. And because there's not a ton of fun facts for this movie, I actually looked into some fun facts around the song that this movie is written about. Because it is based on a song.
Yeah, it is.
So, Love Potion number 9 is a song written in 1959 by Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller. Both of them were Jewish men that grew up on the East Coast after World War II, and they made money selling songs to a number of artists, mostly R&B artists. But then what would often happen with their songs is that someone else, typically a white artist, would cover those songs and make them more famous. One of the most popular examples was in 1952. They wrote the song Hound Dog for Big Mama Thornton. Of course, Elvis Presley sees someone else performing it in Las Vegas in 1956. He takes it, he starts performing it, it becomes a huge hit, and they kind of make most of their money off of it because he still has to pay them because he wrote it. And so they do make money off of that hit, but they didn't quite break in to kind of and like it was always covers of their songs that were getting big, not the original version that they sold. And the same is the case with this song. So Love Potion number 9 was originally recorded by the Clovers, who are an all-black R&B group. And they actually took it to number 23 on the US and R&B charts that year, which is incredibly rare because there was not crossover during those times, at least not frequent. And it wasn't easy for them to actually get those same numbers. A lot of them were coming from smaller record companies that didn't have marketing departments that could actually propel them the same way that mainstream record companies could. Now, I actually pulled that version to listen to it, and it's pretty great. It's a little jazzy. It's not as rocky. And that's the version that they use in this movie. So in the opening credits, they use the Clovers version because it was cheaper than the most famous version, which was actually recorded 5 years later. So 5 years later, the Searchers record the song in 1964. chances are if you know the song Love Potion number 9, that's the version you know, because it gets to number 3 on Billboard's Hot 100. There are other versions of it. Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass do an instrumental version, and the Coasters record a version later on. But the most well-known one is the Searchers, but this movie couldn't afford the Searchers, so they actually do end up including the original recording by the Clovers. And those are your fun facts. Do you want to hear both of them to kind of hear the difference?
I
know we can't like play them in the episode, but do you two want to hear them?
Having just heard both of them, I think I like the Clovers version better, though.
Honestly, I don't think I had ever heard the Clovers version, or at least not that I remembered until today. I really like the Clovers version. I think it's a little more swanky. Like it's kind of got like a sexier edge to it. I like it.
I can tell you why I like it more. The Searchers version doesn't have a guy who's singing the low ass parts where he's like, love potion number. Like he's like way down on the registry. I love that, dude.
There's not a ton of melody in the Searchers version. It's much more of a rock song than an R&B song, but I think the song really is suited by the R&B style.
Same.
So
anyway,
there you
cool.
go.
Well, thank you for those fun facts. Do you guys want to do some box office?
Sure.
So I had a little trouble finding the budget for this movie. Paige, did it come up anywhere in your fun facts? I know sometimes it does.
No, I did find what it made. It's like, I don't remember if it was the first weekend or the whole run. But so I probably should recuse myself for some of that, but I couldn't find the budget. I can't imagine it's a lot, though.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So I didn't have the budget, so I honestly have no idea how much it cost to make, but it was $92, and it probably wasn't a shitload. But it did come out November 13th, 1992, and it was number 17 the weekend it came out. It was beat by Bram Stoker's Dracula, Passenger 57.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, A River Runs Through It.
Oh, that's also a good one.
Under Siege, and The Mighty Ducks.
Under Siege, that's the Steven Seagal Under Siege?
It is,
That's the best Steven Seagal movie.
It is.
I mean, that's not saying much. I went back and listened to a Behind the Bastards episode on the book he wrote.
Yes,
and
I love Behind the Bastards, and that is a great episode. But then there were 12 other movies, and then Love Potion number 9. Full disclosure, though, it was only in 278 theaters, whereas like the number 1 movie, Bram Stoker's Dracula, was in almost 2,500 theaters. So that's probably why it didn't do any better. But what do you think it made in its opening weekend? And again, that was November 13th, 1992.
I think I'm going to recuse myself because I think the number I saw was for opening weekend.
Okay, Mikey, what do you think?
$700,000.
Oh, Mikey, you're actually pretty close. It was $416,000.
Okay.
Is what it made in its opening weekend. Now, if you adjust that for inflation, that brings that $416,000 up to $827,000, so still not even $1 million. But it was only in a few hundred theaters, like 200 and some theaters. So that's probably why. Now, it wasn't in theaters any other weekends, but it did go on to make $754,000 total, which again is not a lot of money. So it probably didn't make its budget back in traditional box office, but I bet it did in like home market performance, like Blockbuster and video and DVD sales. Because this movie was everywhere on TV when I was a kid. I remember that.
Yeah.
But that is your box office for Love Potion number 9. So do you guys still think they're still together?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You guys still think they're together?
I think so. At least till 1994.
Yeah, I mean,
I think in the movie they make it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because they clearly were perfect for each other, and it sets that up almost immediately in this movie, which I really like. But yeah, so I think they're still together, listening to classical music, playing with their cats, eating cheese, just
doing research.
Yeah, just dumping it into each other.
Adopting the monkeys, having them in Christmas dresses, taking family photos with them. Yeah, I see this. I see this for them.
So this week I made you guys watch Love Potion number 9. Mikey, what are you making us watch next week?
I want to go bigger and more bonkers. I need more mainstream and more bonkers.
Wow, okay. It's hard to be more mainstream than Sandy B when it comes to rom-coms, but I will admit Love Potion number 9 is not her most mainstream one.
That's true.
I have picked Passengers with Chris. What's the guy's name?
Chris, at least.
Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, Chris Pratt.
Wait, is this the one where they're on the spaceship?
Yes.
Yeah, where they're on the spaceship.
Mikey, I've seen this movie. It is nuts.
I have not seen this movie, but I remember when it came out and the bonkers reviews this movie got.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I actually love science fiction.
So do I.
And so, like, I think this works. This is a romance, quote unquote, movie.
I mean, I'd never had sex in space, so it's hard for me to like contextualize that.
But listen, I'm going to be honest with you. It's been a long time since I've seen this. I think it came out in like 2016 or something.
Yeah, that sounds
maybe
about right.
2017. But I watched it, but I liked it at the time. I don't remembe scene by scene, but I liked it.
I saw it in theaters. I like it.
Yeah.
But once you start to analyze what is actually happening,
Oh, don't do that.
It is bad. It is very unhealthy and bad.
Yeah, that's probably true. I do remember really liking the bartender character, and that's probably all I want to say about the bartender character because I don't want to give too much of the plot away. But he's a robot. Oh, Mikey, shut up. Anyway. But I liked this movie. I thought it was sweet. And then I remembered the turn at the end. You're like, oh, that's not great.
Yeah, I feel like I read about it, so maybe I won't be so surprised. But if it gets really bad, I'll just go read Ripley and Hicks fan fiction and I'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, you will.
Yeah.
You'll be right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, your homework for next week is to get trapped in a spaceship with one other person, fall in love, and then have a weird turn and watch Passengers.
All right.
Mikey, I'm so proud of you for this pick. So, Mikey, do you have a review for us to read?
I don't know. I just don't even know.
So while you're looking one up, let me tell them how they can have their review read on the podcast, and that is to leave us a 5-star text review, and we'll have Mikey read it for you. So, Mikey, whose review are you going to do this week?
We're going to listen to...
We're going to listen to a
we
review?
got a couple of... Yeah, we're going to listen.
Yeah, we got a bunch of really, really good reviews. Like,
dang.
We got like 4 in a week. One of which threatens a trade war between 2 countries if we don't come for a visit.
Which countries?
Canada and the U.S.
This is Volsky's 2013. Volcase 2013. Absolutely the best is the title.
Absolutely the best.
Simply the best. I went to like a corporate retreat weekend and like that played all the time. Like they're giving people rewards. They're like, simply the best. What we're gonna like.
All the rest.
All right. My husband recommended I listen to this pod because I was looking for something besides true crime to listen to.
Aw. Listen, I listen to a lot of true crime too. I love true crime podcasts, so I get that.
Mm-hmm.
This pod is hilarious, and I love the in-depth look at romantic comedies.
Me too. Although, don't look too closely. It'll be very dark.
I also love the different perspectives of Paige, Todd, and Mikey. As someone who is involved in the mental health field, I really appreciate Mikey's takes on the romantic comedies and their problematic areas. 5 stars.
Volsky's 2013. Thank you so much for that amazing 5-star review. We appreciate it. So, yeah, guys, if you like this power throuple that we have here on this podcast, make sure to check out our other podcast, The Horror Virgin. And that is the only other podcast that Mikey and I are on. But Paige gets around, and she is on 2 other podcasts, Black Card Rehab and Cult Podcast. So guys, definitely check out those because they're amazing. If you want to follow us on social, we are at Romancing the Pod Show.
Yes.
On Instagram, and we are at something else on Twitter who I just have never taken the time to learn it.
It's just Romancing Pod Show because they have a character limit and it's show SHO like Showtime.
So guys, check that out as well. And if you want to follow us all individually, Paige is at Rampage Wesley everywhere, including TikTok, except for Twitter, where she is at Paige Wesley. Mikey is at MRandolph24, and I am at Todd J. Awesome everywhere. And guys, we got a P.O. box. So if you want to send us some love letters or whatever you might send to a P.O. box, it's actually not a P.O. box. It's like a regular street address. It's pretty awesome. It's 6688 Nolensville Road, number 108-34, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027. So send us some stuff.
Yeah.
And that's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
I'm Mikey.
And I am Todd.
And you complete us.
To completion.
Toodle pip.
What's the maker of this top? If you can name it, Todd, I'll sleep with you.
I can't see your top, Mikey.
Gildan. Check the tag. Check the tag.
Is it Gildan? I'm going to say Gildan. I'm going to go with Gildan. Mikey, take it off. Oh, he's literally taking it off. Oh, Mikey.
Let's see.
If it is, I'm going to laugh so
Mikey,
fucking hard.
Well, Paige, you guessed.
Mikey, you may have to fuck me.
Yeah, I'm guessing on Todd's behalf.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's unfortunately
champion.
incorrect. It is
Damn.
champion.
I was so close
damn
to
it,
having
so
Mikey
close.
dumping it all in me. Bye, champion nerds.